Okay, for today's review, we are going to be checking out our first Kingdom figure. Well, not the first one that I got, but the first one that I'm reviewing. Here we have Core Class Kingdom Rattrap. This is one I've been super excited for. I'm super into Beast Wars, and seeing, new updated designs of these guys is just super fantastic. We got a deluxe Rattrap a while ago, the Thrilling 31, and that was a really good figure, but it just didn't really scale that well with the other figures. It was much too big, so I'm so happy to have Rattrap here in a much smaller scale. And yeah, he looks great. It's not really like the I think I like the decision that they're going for to just kind of do the alt modes as if they were trying to do realistic animals rather than trying to match them to the CG show models, because like those models are a little bit dated, and I much prefer having like a fur texture and stuff like that. So I think the mouse mode looks pretty good. The back feet are a little weird because those will come as robot feet, and he's got some weird stuff going on in the butt back here because there's his hands. But otherwise, it's pretty good. I really like the texture. I like the like white that they used here on the nose section to differentiate a little bit. The eyes are very nice. Got pink nose. Even has very hard to see. Let's see if I can get it to focus, but it does have a little white dot of paint there to look like teeth. And yeah, very good. He does come with this weapon, and unfortunately, it doesn't really store that well in alt mode. It just pegs onto the side of his leg here is the only way to store it, which of course looks a little bit weird. I guess I don't mind it as much with the Beast Wars guys because like their alt modes were never really for disguise. They were more for, in the show at least, they were for, the energy dampening function. So it doesn't bother me as much, but I don't know, man. The original Rat Trap stored his weapon, so I feel like kind of sucks to not have that here. And there's like space back here too. If like it's not like Prowl where you can get it to stay down here, but like if they had designed it a little bit differently, I'm pretty sure there would have been space for it to store back here rather than just tabbing stupidly onto the leg. But eh, eh, it's not great, but it's not like the end of the world. But yeah, otherwise his mouse mode is pretty good. Here he is with the actual First Kingdom figure that I got, who I'll review shortly. Vertebrake, also core class. These are the only two I have so far. I'm still out hunting, and hopefully I'll get some new ones soon. But yeah, those are both the core class figures. And here he is with the Generations Thrilling 30 Rhinox, who is still a really good figure, and definitely, I think, like, even if they weren't doing a Kingdom Rhinox, I'd be satisfied with this guy. He's getting a little bit old, and some of the parts are starting to scare me in the transformation, so we'll see what the Kingdom Rhinox is going to bring, but if it's bad, I'm satisfied just staying with this guy. But yeah, they look good together. They obviously don't like scale as a rat and a rhino would, but Rat Trap turned into a rather big rat in the show itself, and I'd say that scale is fairly accurate. But yeah, for transformation. So yeah, first thing we'll just put the gun off to the side. The legs here, they don't really tab in up here, but they kind of have a little notch that shows them where to sit. So you move those down, and then they do tab into the side right here. So you just want to undo that and then bring it out a little bit and do that on both sides. And his legs look like super horrifically terrible right now just because it looks like they're like broken in three places. But you take this part of the leg and then bring it there, and that it doesn't lock, but it gives it a place to sit right there to complete the lower leg. Then you rotate the feet, which are pretty tight. Hopefully those loosen up a little bit over time, because like once you're actually moving them, it's fine. But like that first click always feels like, oh, the plastic's so thin down there. I'm a little bit worried about it. Not terribly so, but it's kind of, makes me worry a little bit every time I do it. But yeah, you just do that on both sides there. Then you untab the arms from back here, just bring them down for now, and then you take these side sections that have the front legs of the rat mode and fold them out. And then you take the mouse head here and it ratchets down. I don't think it really needed to ratchet, but I think that mostly happened because they put like a little gear detail here, which like the original toy of Rat Trap had, and he had in the CG show model. He had like little gears on his collarbone there, so It's kind of funny that it ratchets, where I feel like they designed that mostly for the visual, but whatever. You rotate around the head. Then you take the backpack. It's on a double hinge here, and you kind of lock it up into the body here. And then you take this section with the tail, and it's on a double hinge. And then you rotate the tail around, which reveals this little hook, which just then hooks over the back section here. And then you take the arms, bring them up on this gray hinge here, and they don't really lock into place. They just kind of sit there, and then you rotate them down, and then rotate the forearms. So like, yeah, the arms don't actually attach to the body; they attach to the backpack, which is fine. I think it works well enough. It's a little weird, but especially when putting him in certain poses, but I think it does all right in terms of visuals. And yeah, there you have Rattrap in his robot mode, and he looks fantastic. Like, check out that head sculpt, all the detail they were able to pack into there. He's even got his little buck teeth. They're a little bit more separated than they were in the show, but nice silver brain dome there. And yeah, it's just really good detail. I think that the proportions are all great, and he just looks really good. Can of course give him his weapon. It seems like half of the core class figures have this size of peg hole, and then half of them have like regular like standard peg size holes. Like Vertebrake has that, so like she can hold the same 5 millimeter pieces that like all the other toys come with. I feel like, yeah, I don't know, I guess I don't mind that Rattrap can't hold the other weapons that like other figures come with, because it does look a little bit better with these proportions. But either way, but yeah, you can hold his gun like that, and then to store it, I'm glad that it actually has, a designated robot mode storage. He's got this peg back here that just plugs into this hole back here, and it stores along his back very nicely. It makes it even more of a shame that it does not really store that well in alt mode. But yeah, he's really good. Articulation wise, the head I think is on a ball joint, but you don't really get a lot of wiggle on it. You mostly just get that rotation. The shoulders, like I mentioned, are attached to the backpack, so you can rotate them all the way up like this, and you can rotate them about that far up. But if you want to go like any more than that, then you have to, like rotate around that section rather than just like pulling it straight up. The elbows are on ball joints. The wrists are sculpted to look like they've got that ball joint, because that's kind of what his wrists look like in the show, but they don't move. No waist. Hips are on ball joints. Knees are on ball joints, and then feet are on ball joints, and they get a pretty good range of tilting. The socket is just big enough that you can really do some nice poses with him. Yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of annoying, is that the middle of his shin is also on a ball joint. So like, I wish that this just kind of tabbed in a little bit better, because like when you go to bend his leg, like usually that joint is a little bit looser, so you kind of have to like put pressure on it. It's not the end of the world, just a little bit annoying at times. But yeah, he's pretty decently posable. Here he is again with Vertebrake, also from Kingdom. So you can see they scale. I mean, this is a new character, so they scale however they're supposed to scale, but they basically are the same height. To show him off with some other smaller figures, just so you can get a sense of like what the core class is sort of like. Here he is with Thrilling 30 Legends Power Glide. So you can see they're pretty much the same height. I feel like Rattrap probably has a little bit less plastic, but they're pretty much on par. Like, this new core class is basically the same as the Legends class that we were getting in the Prime Wars trilogy. And he's not Thrilling 30, he's Combiner Wars, my bad. But in the Prime Wars trilogy and right before we were getting these Legends class figures, it's pretty much back to that, which I think is a really good size class. I've enjoyed like pretty much all of those figures, and both of the core class figures I've got so far are also really great. So yeah, it works pretty well. And then I'll adjust the camera here a little bit for some other figures. Here he is with Bumblebee. So you can see, yeah, kind of, just to show off that size class again, he is a little bit smaller than, well, Bumblebee's like a small deluxe, but he's basically like the same height as an old Scout class figure. And then here he is again with Thrilling 30 Rhinox, who of course still does not fit in camera there. And yeah, I feel like that scale is, it's not perfect. I feel like Rattrap was a little bit taller in the show, but I like the scale a lot. Like, it's not exactly 100% accurate to Beast Wars, but I think it works really well with these figures. But yeah, he's a really good figure overall. I'm quite pleased with him. Like, The other more recent incarnations of Beast Wars characters we've got, like the Thrilling 30 stuff, those figures both looked really good, but they're like just such a pain to transform. Whereas this guy is a lot more smooth, and that kind of excites me for the new figures coming up. Um, and then, the original Beast Wars figures are like, they're a lot of fun, but they're a little bit lacking on paint in places, and they also came before the show designs, so they're not necessarily like totally accurate in all the ways that I want. And this guy is just like an absolutely fantastic representation of Rattrap. And I'm glad that this, like, right before these guys even got announced, I was considering like splurging and spending money on that third party transform element Rattrap, which is like about the same size as this, but if not like a little bit smaller. But it costs like, I don't know, between like $30 and $50 or something like that, which is like a lot for a figure of this size. And then these guys got announced right kind of as I decided not to actually, spend that much money on that small figure. And I was like, oh, good thing I didn't do that, because this for $10 is a lot more fantastic. And I actually think it looks better than that figure too, even though I don't have it in hand. But yeah, really good figure. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do BotBots reviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then other reviews like these on Sundays. But without further ado, here we have Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Core Class Rattrap.